it's Liz from Old Stables Crafts. Thank you very much for joining me again today. Today I am going to show you a little pack of gift cards that I am in the middle of making, and I thought I would share the final one that I'm going to make with you now. So this is using the Coming Home stamp set and some paper from the matching designer series paper, and it's this one which has the wreaths on the back. This has lots of Christmas messages in English and French and German and I think Dutch. So basically in all of the Stampin' Up! Languages with the exception of Japanese. And in each line, if you like, there are, I say at least, I've managed to find 2 English words, but some of them absolutely you can use even if they're not in English, because things like Noel, we all know what that means. So yeah, I've just cut them into strips, really easy to do with your trimmer, and then I'm just cutting them apart with scissors. So let me show you the final card that I'm going to make, then I'll show you the ones that I've already made. So I've cut my paper, or my card I should say, to 6 by 3 inches, and then I've cut this, I think I took it down 1/8 of an inch. Yes, so I cut this at 2 7/8 of an inch square, and that fits into our 3-inch envelopes, which in turn fit into our, I buried it under my paper, our little acetate box. So let me make the card and then we can put the whole gift together. I'm going to use this house, which is, let me show you the stamps I'm going to use. I'm going to use this one, and this one. I am going to be making some masks just out of post-it notes because I want to do some layering. So the easiest way to do masks is with a post-it note or something like that. Let me just get some of this out of the way before I get ink where I don't want it. I've already got a mask for the car, which I may or may not need, but let's see, where's my... Right, so this is the sticky bit. So I want to make sure that I've got some of the stamp on the sticky bit, so that I've got sticky to stick it down with. So that is that. Then I just need to grab my snips. I'm only going to be stamping part of the house, so this bit's kind of rough as far as I'm concerned. So I'm just going to effectively cut away the outside stamped line, and the reason for that is that when you layer one stamp over another, or one stamp over a piece of paper, you will get a halo. So you want to avoid that by cutting away part of the stamped image. Then you don't get the halo. It will make more sense, hopefully, when I actually do it. So this is going to be the second thing I stamp. I have to work out what I'm doing. So the first thing I'm going to stamp is the car, because I want the car to be in front of my house. So you need to work from the front backwards. So my car is going to go down there. Oh, and I meant to bring in my piercing mat. Happily that's stamped all right. I will now bring in my piercing mat, however. I have found that some of the houses in particular, because it's quite a large stamp with some fine detail, having the piercing mat underneath does help. Now I need to just trim the front off my car because when I've used it before I didn't need the front trimmed, but now I do. So that's the front trimmed. Of course it's now going to stick to my fingers. Right, so I'm just going to cover up my car with my car, and I want to be able to see the stamped outline. I don't know if you can see that. Let me bring it up slowly. So I've got a little bit of stamped outline showing. Maybe if I peel it off, you can see that that's going over the stamped outline, or not, rather not going over the stamped outline, so it'll make sense when I've stamped it. So now I'm going to stamp my house. Just going to bring this in to cover my piercing mat, and I want my house to be back a bit because otherwise my house is going to look tiny by comparison to my car. So let me just make sure that's well inked. So I'm going to stamp my house there, give it a good press, and pop that to one side, and then I'm going to use my house mask to cover that, and I'm going to bring in my tree. There are two trees, this is the larger of the two, so I'm going to bring that in and I'm going to stamp that there, I think. Okay, now fingers crossed, assuming I've got this right, when I peel these off it's going to look okay. So our tree is behind our house and our house is behind our car. Thank you, post-it notes. Okay, so, and I've got my tiny little sentiment which is going to go up here, which says peace, love and joy. It doesn't mean anything in particular in respect to this picture, but you kind of get the idea. So I'm going to bring in my pool party and my poppy parade and misty moonlight, old olive, in fact probably all of these, so old olive, smoky slate and crumb cake. So I'm going to have, I think I'm going to go, oops, that's not meant to happen. I'm going to come in with pool party here. And I dropped these and I've damaged this end. Don't drop things from a great height and then tread on them. Doesn't do your blends any good at all. Just saying. Doesn't do your foot much good either. So colour that in, just that little bit down there. In fact, I can remove my piercing mat now because I don't really need that. And now I've deliberately got the layers because when you use blends, as you may know, they tend to bleed through to the back, and that really wouldn't be terribly pretty on the inside of your gift tag. Right, I'm going to use light pool party for the windows, and I'm not too worried about colouring in the whole of the windows because it's just so that there's colour. And I think we'll go dark crumb cake for the slats. You can make these as bright or as subtle as you want, but I am using the colours, more or less the colours that are in the paper. The main colours in the paper are Old Olive, Poppy Parade, Misty Moonlight and Pool Party. And there's also Early Espresso, and I think it's Basic Black. So I'm using Crumb Cake in place of Early Espresso. Could have used Soft Suede, but I prefer the idea of Crumb Cake. And I'm using Smoky Slate in place of black, although black does come in two shades of blend. So there is the dark black and the light black, which always amuses me because I think that dark black is basically black. Right, I'm going to go Misty Moonlight for my front door. And then I'm going to go Poppy Parade for my beetle. Because to me this is a VW beetle. Now you can add some additional shading if you want, so I could bring in dark Misty Moonlight to do some shading. I will be doing some shading on the tree and the car, but I'm not sure that you really need to do it on the other bits. Right, so having said that, the tree is going to be in Old Olive. So I'm going to colour it in light Old Olive first, and then come in and do my shading. With my dark Old Olive. So, oops. So there's a shadow there, there's a shadow there, and because it's behind the house I'm going to put shadows here, because there's got to be a shadow somewhere, so it's as good a place as any. And then come back in with my light Old Olive and blend those out a bit. And I'm not coming all the way across because the layering up the light Old Olive will of itself give a bit of a blend, a bit of a extra dimension. It is going to dry back a little bit, but it will add a little je ne sais quoi. So I'm also going to just add a shadow here, possibly there and there, just to give it a little bit of 3D. Then I'm going to do my car, actually, no, I am going to do my car and pool party, but just to do some quick shading, I'm going to go over the cross and then round the wheel hubs. Oh, and across the bottom, because there'll be a shadow there as well. And that's all the shading I'm going to do on my car. And then just come in and blend that out. And I'm not too fussed if I don't do an amazing blend. There we go. And then light smoky slate for the chrome. And I know that's a headlight and a brake light, but I'm going to colour them as if they're chrome. And then some light pool party just in the middle of the windows, just for some definition. Now, the key to all of these things is for them to not be sitting in mid-air. So just come in, and I like to use the brush tip for this, and give them something to be standing on. Because otherwise they just look a little bit odd. Well, for me they do. So that's all the colouring done. And let me grab my little sentiment, which is peace, love and joy. And I don't often use liquid adhesive on designer series paper, but I think this is one moment where it's good because this is tiny. So I'm just going to add the smallest amount of liquid adhesive to that. Turn it over, hopefully without getting my fingers all mucky. Pop it on a tiny piece of Poppy Parade card. And then I'm just going to, you can use your trimmer with this for this if you want, but I'm just going to be brave and use my snips just to trim that off. It's not perfect, but it's fine. And then again, a small amount of liquid adhesive, and I'm going to line that up against the edge. Like that. And then just for a finishing touch, I've got some of all the trimmings embellishments. I'm just going to add a star to the top of our Christmas tree as a just finishing touch. Then bring in my card base, and these are just ordinary whisper white. They're not the thick whisper white. Because it's a small card, you don't need the extra weight. And we're putting some more card on the front anyway. You can use your seal for sticking this on, and then just pop that in place there. I like to turn it over and press from the back so that I don't smudge. So there's that card. Let me bring in the others. So this one is kind of the same but different, if you see what I mean. So it hasn't got the car. This one's just the car and some trees. This one's got a Christmas tree on top. Some brickwork, which I've just done with the dark crumb cake and then coloured over. And a small house. So, and again, I've done some masking to get the dimension. So let's pop these with their envelopes, which I'm going to go in that way because I like to have the folded edge out. So our gorgeous little envelopes, where there is enough room for a 3x3 card. You don't want too much extra weight, as in dimension, because they are quite snug. If I pop this one in, they are quite snug. They're perfectly sized for 3-inch cards, but they're sized for 3-inch flatter cards rather than with lots of dimension. Need one more envelope. So that's my 6 cards, which I'm going to alternate in my stack, because then they've got flaps at opposite ends, that way. So that's 6 cards. Then if I grab my box, I've got a piece of paper which is the reverse of the house scene, or the mountain scene, and then my little box, complete with a cat hair. I don't know. Come on. Just push those in. Flap down, get that end reasonably well pressed, pop that in, pop my cards in my box. This easily takes 6, you could probably get 8 in, would be my guess. But 6 is what I would call a comfy number. And then pop that in there, like that. And then all I'm going to do is wrap my paper around my box, and I'm going round so that the flap is enclosed. So you have to slide this off. It's going to become a belly band, if you like. And don't need all of this. I can cut it about there. So I'm just going to make a mark there. And come in with my mini chopper. And just chop that off. And add some, I'll use seal, I think. Let's go, this one will be the one that goes over the top. So we want to make sure that we can slide our belly band off. So pop some seal on. Line everything up and give it a good holding together like that. And then I'm going to grab the old olive ribbon that matches the suite, and in fact no, that's real red. No, I was looking at one of the other ribbons and just realised it was real red. Real red and Poppy Parade is not a good mix. So let me just tie this in a bow. Now of course you could put something die cut on top, you could put a little tag, but I think this, oh that's far too much ribbon. I think this would make a nice little gift for someone if you're going to visit their house at Christmas, assuming we're allowed to do that, or a thank you gift for someone. I think this would make a really nice little gift. So, and takes almost no time at all. If you're into adult colouring, this is a perfect gift for... Do you ever get that moment where you wish you could tie a bow when you're on camera? Because I'm having that feeling just about now. In fact, I'm going to make this really easy for myself. She says famous last words. I'm going to do a half knot, then a full knot, and then I'm going to tie my bow. There are just moments when you just have to give in and accept defeat. But there we go. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I think it's a really nice little gift for someone, particularly if you get the twist out of your ribbon. But yeah. So I hope you've enjoyed that. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. I will have some photographs of the cards and everything over on my website, so do go and have a look at that, and there's a link to that immediately below in the description bar. Questions and comments can also go in the description bar. Thank you very much indeed for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye!